Happy Devils Tuesday. This is the Woo Report, episode 102, titled Mixed Thoughts on NHL Players in the Olympics. I'm your host, Sam Woo, streaming live on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Welcome to the Woo Report. It's a lovely afternoon in New Jersey. Beautiful blue skies, sunny day. Talking a little bit of hockey as we only have about 13 days. Not 13 days, no. How many days do we have? Today's the 7th. We got about 8 days left before training camp starts. Season's upon us. And welcome to the Woo Report. And also you can find my blogs on hockeybuzz.com and pucksandpitchforks.com. Hello, David Decker in the Facebook Live. All right, so I have some mixed thoughts on the NHL players being in the Olympics. Word got out before the Labor Day holiday here in the U.S. that the NHL and the NHLPA came up with an agreement with stipulations, and the NHL sending the players to Bejing for the 2022 Winter Olympics or Winter Games, whatever you want to call it. I don't know anything about the trademarking, but let's just call it the Olympics, or we could call it Winter Games, whatever. And I have some mixed thoughts about this, especially as a Devils fan. As this is a young team, young nucleus, put together, finally, hopefully, a full season upon us. The last full season that the Devils had, regular season, 2018-2019. Obviously, the 2019-2020 season cut short. Devils never made it back. Round robin play, still disagree with it, but and then last season, 56 game shortened season, but finally, a full season of young players, young nucleus, finally getting the chance to develop some chemistry with some challenges, of course. You have the pandemic, coronavirus, COVID-19, also potentially can cause disruption. And now you have the Olympics being a distraction. In 2018, the NHL did not send their players. After 2014, remember those games? Team USA, TJ Oshie, again, as he scores those in a shootout to determine who wins against Russia, Team Russia, right? Lose 2018, now 2022. Very interesting, because I have mixed thoughts about it. Number one, as a Devils fan, I love to see continuity. I like to see these players develop. I think it's too much of a break mid-season from February 4th to, I don't know, end of February, because the Olympic break. So after the NHL All-Star game, I believe that's in Las Vegas, they head off to Bejing, some of the players. And for the development of the Devils, I'm not so sure about that. Also, and this is a long term. This has been an issue for a while. Risking injuries of your star players, team owners, team management groups committing millions of dollars to these players. What happens if they get hurt? I mean, that's been always the debate. But now you add a little thing, a little twist to it. You're in the midst, you're still in a pandemic. And rumors are that majority of the NHL players have been vaccinated. But still, with Delta running around, the unknowns, I just think the NHL has and their fans have too much to lose by going. And I know what's done is done, but think about it here. Think about it. ESPN.com, Emily Kaplan, we've had her on the State of the Fan address, New Jersey native, hockey writer, knows her stuff, wrote a piece about this agreement with the NHL and NHLPA, saying that there is an out clause. If COVID-19 worsens, they can pull out. Also, if the NHL regular season schedule has many postponements or cancellations, that they would use that a lot of time to make up the game so it's not so much of a scheduling nightmare for teams, the NHL, the buildings. There's a lot of moving parts. I always said that whoever does the NHL regular season scheduling, I don't know how they do it, but they should get paid a lot of money because you're dealing with now 32 different teams. All right, so back to the subject. My mixed thoughts on the NHL players in the Olympics. Yes, I would love, and here are the pros to it, I love for the NHL and hockey to be promoted to a global audience, an international audience. Of course, memories of 1980, Team USA against Russia. The storyline now, if you want to talk a real underdog, Team China. Team China ranked 32nd in the world, pretty much dead, pretty much to the bottom. Both men's and women's get a waiver because they are the host country. And somehow, Team China, I believe, got drawn, and in their group, they have to play Team USA, Team Canada, and Team Germany. Germany's not a bad team. But can you imagine Connor McDavid versus, he's going to, you want to talk about a miracle, that would be a miracle that could top 1980, but I have to tell you, sorry folks, that's not going to happen. There's no way Connor McDavid and Team Canada would lose to Team China. I mean, it would take a lot, and a lot of big surprises. Same with Team USA and even Germany. And why am I pointing this out? The NHL wants to promote the game. Unfortunately, you've got this pandemic going on. Unfortunately, you lost your leverage, according to Emily Kaplan in her article, that in February 2020, the NHL wanted some things in exchange for sending their players over, such as NHL logos in the rinks in China. That would have been great, promoting the game, hockey as a whole. Okay, China has big population, 7 times as much in North America. U.S. and Canada combined. I don't know what the latest number is, right? Also in the mix, putting Olympic highlights on NHL.com and NHL Network. I don't know what they got out of it, but according to Emily Kaplan, they didn't get all of it. They didn't get much because they lost the leverage because the displeasure of the players wanting to go over to the Olympics, which I don't blame them. But when you're talking about negotiations with the IOC and the IIHF, they're pretty powerful organizations. So I think that, when you look at it logically, I think the NHL and their fans and the NHL have a lot to lose. Again, I talk about injuries or the possible of what if there is a COVID-19 spread amongst the village. Obviously that the Chinese government is going to have strict protocols in the bubble. Maybe some protocols that we're not normally used to. They're going to be strict because they don't want to be embarrassed either. But I will say this, though, from a Devils fan's perspective, I just like to see our boys at home because I think this interruption. Could be an intervention. You never know if the team's slumping. Have an intervention, 3 weeks off, and really get their minds off of things and come back rolling. But I think continuity and consistency and letting these players gel and develop that team chemistry is more important than going to the Olympics at this stage in the New Jersey Devils rebuild. And I say that sincerely because, of course, I would love the players to live out their Olympic dreams. Alexander Ovechkin, he's not getting any younger. Sidney Crosby, he's not getting any younger, right? But I'm also torn that, you know what, maybe this is not good for the team. I mean, the Devils last season didn't have much time to develop that chemistry together in the beginning of the season. And once they start getting on a roll, boom, 16-day layoff out of nowhere. But hopefully this won't be much of a factor. But also I worry about the injuries. I worry about player safety. And safety to me is paramount. Safety first. And that's all I have to say. 666 King Drummer says boycott in all caps in the YouTube live. Whistler says greetings, Whistler. Greetings to everybody. I'm going to try to do this. It's not easy, but I'm going to try to do a Woo Report every time at noontime while you're having your lunch. I'll have to think of something to say. Alan Moda is now watching. Matt Freudenberger is watching on the Facebook Live. Maybe it's overkill, but the Woo Report lives on. We've got a lot of good things happening in Season 5 of the Let's Go Devils podcast. I can tell you that much. We're going to still be back. We're going to start doing these live events, but very carefully. It's not easy. Okay? We have to be very careful. Your safety is important as ours because that's important. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say that because I believe in player safety as well, players going overseas. But also, Let's Go Devils Game Day Live, the premier pre-game show. Vinny Parisi and I, we're going to get started on September 17th for the Prospects Challenge. Tuning up, warming up. Also, we got the infamous Let's Go Devils post-game live. Scotty and I recapping Devils games after the game, getting your rapid reaction. Also, State of the Fan address coming back. pucksandpitchforks.com. Editor-in-Chief Nick Villano and I will be back Wednesday. We never take a day off. We don't take shifts off here at the Let's Go Devils podcast. And also the Sunday edition, don't forget that, the flagship podcast of this beautiful Let's Go Devils podcast channel on the Primetime Radio Network. Well, folks, that is all. But those are my mixed thoughts on the NHL players going to the Olympics. But I hope it all ends well. I just think that the NHL and the NHLPA have more to lose than gain. But it's a risk that they're taking. And the players, I hope you live out your Olympic dreams with a good, hard, friendly international competition. Go easy on Team China. You don't want to embarrass them too bad because you want Team China to eventually be one of those teams playing hockey in the Olympics and being relevant. But just remember what USA Soccer was in 1994 when they got their automatic berth for being the host country for the World Cup. It started to grow the game. And hopefully China will follow suit because the NBA is reaping benefits of the game going global. And I think the NHL should too, especially, in my opinion, hockey is so much more exciting than basketball. And no offense to all the basketball fans, because I like basketball too, to an extent. All right, well, that's all for now. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes. This is the Woo Report, episode 102. Till next time, let's go Devils.